Hello everyone, welcome to Patchwork Quilt. Your project dealing with the early American culture is I'd love for you to make a geometric quilt block design. So the pilgrims would use fabrics, they'd cut them up into small pieces of geometric shapes like triangles, squares, and rectangles to create their quilt block design. And these are just some of the examples that have been around for a while. But the geometric pieces, usually squares, triangles, rectangles, are stitched together to create a traditional quilt block design, like these. And actually, the pilgrims in the colonies, the people that lived in the colonies, would have given these special geometric designs names. Like this one's called the wrench, the windblown square, a sawtooth star, and a flying bird. And so once they create these quilt blocks, these geometric quilt block designs, they would then stitch these blocks together to make a bigger quilt covering. And this would actually be on the top of the quilt. So I'm going to sort of show you a couple of different techniques of how to draw a design using I have a handout that you can sort of pick and choose from if you want. Now, if you can't print these PDF files they're attached to our lesson in Google Classroom, I will have copies in our Flash Files art folder, which will be in the it's the last Flash File filing cabinet on the far right. And the drawing paper and the handouts will be in the very bottom drawer in the very last filing cabinet on the right. But you know, if you can print them out at home, it saves you a trip. But I'm going to show you in another video, and I may have multiples. They'll show you really quick tutorials of how to draw these really neat designs that we can trace back all the way to the days of the pilgrims, who actually have brought them over from England and parts of Europe. And so usually what we do is we use construction paper. But since you're working at home, you may not have construction paper or have access to cutting, and it was just not feasible for me to cut 2-inch squares of all these different colors for the whole school, and it'd just be a nightmare to keep up with them in those flash file folders. So I'm going to be drawing mine and using crayons and markers to color it in. But in a normal school year, we would actually use a construction paper, and you'd have to learn how to cut the squares into triangles. And all you got to do is just cut corner to opposite corner to make the triangles. Because most of these geometric quilt block designs are based on triangles. You just got to figure out how to, it's like a puzzle. How do you put the triangles together to create a bigger triangle, or a parallelogram, or some of these, a diamond, or a star. And then, of course, if you've been to my classroom, we have glued some of these to the ceiling tiles. We have, in the past, used whole grade levels to piece them together to make a bigger design. This is actually on a wall. Here's a close-up of that wall. And we've actually quilted the hallway going to the library one year, where we used poster board size quilt block designs. So, you know, we have a strong tradition of doing quilt block patterns and designs at Lone Oak, and of course, right around the corner in the spring, we have the Big Huge Quilt Show. So we have lots of ties of tradition that could be traced all the way back to the Pilgrims and the Colonial days. They could also be traced back to England and parts of Europe. So look at the other videos that shows you how you can draw like me, or you can make up your own, or you can try to pick and choose a design that's on the other handout that has some examples. So have fun and enjoy, and I'll see you next time. Hello everyone, welcome to Patchwork Quilt. Your project dealing with the early American culture is I'd love for you to make a geometric quilt block design. So the pilgrims would use fabrics, they'd cut them up into small pieces of geometric shapes like triangles, squares, and rectangles to create their quilt block design. And these are just some of the examples that have been around for a while. But the geometric pieces, usually squares, triangles, rectangles, are stitched together to create a traditional quilt block design, like these. And actually, the Pilgrims in the colonies, the people that lived in the colonies, would have given these special geometric designs names. Like this one's called the wrench, the windblown square, a salted star, and a flying bird. And so once they create these quilt blocks, these geometric quilt block designs, they would then stitch these blocks together to make a bigger quilt covering. Hello everybody, welcome back to Art in Flash. This handout, you can print it out at home if you have a printer. If you don't have a printer, I'm going to have a folder set up in the Flash files that will have a whole bunch of these, and you can come and get as many as you want. And I'll try to make sure that there's plenty up there. But it's going to be in the Flash file of the last Flash file filing cabinet on the right, and I'll put this in the very bottom drawer. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to show you really quickly how to design one. Now you also, I'll put this in here too, and it's a handout that I put together of different kind of geometric quilt block designs, and they all have names. Some of them I can name and some of them I can't. But I would like, you can either design your own, or see if you can recreate one that you like over on this side. And so it's almost like a puzzle. If you look at these, it's almost it's very, very. Some of them are very challenging. And it's like, how did these people back in the colonial days, how did they come up with this kind of design? And but all of the quilt blocks you see here are based on a 16 square block. Even though some of them may not look like it, you just got to figure out, well, how did they do it? So that's the challenging part about this project, and that's the part that I like the most. You can draw your lines with a pencil, and you can always go back and erase them. If you draw something and you say, no, I didn't like that, or I didn't do that correctly. Usually I draw a lot of lines with a marker, but I found out earlier today that I sort of like drawing with just the black crayon. And so what I'm going to do is show you a few examples of how to come up with some of these designs. And I think once you draw one, you see how easy it is, then you can draw some of your own. So for example, if I wanted to, I like this one that has a big, huge a diamond inside of a diamond inside of a diamond inside of a diamond. It's very optical illusion kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the center 4. Now the rule is most of these are made by making triangles. So if all of these are squares, how do you make a square into a triangle? So all you have to do is draw from corner to corner. If you divide the square in half diagonally, you're going to make 2 triangles. So now I wouldn't do it twice, because then your triangles would be too small. But how do you make some of these bigger ones? Like this one over here. That looks huge. It's got 4 ginormous triangles. So how do they do it? So you know what? This is a pretty easy one. Let me show you how to do this one, then we might do that one second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the 4 corners, or the 4 squares in the center, and I'm going to try to see how they did it. So I'm going to go from corner to opposite corner diagonally, and then I'm going to go from this corner to this corner diagonally opposite, and then I'm going to go from this corner to this corner, and you can see that I'm actually making the diamond from here to here. Now, to make the, they made this one black. Now, this is just a black and white copy, so you can make your own colors. That's why I have all of my handy friends here on the side, that as soon as I finish drawing them, I can design my colors however I want. So to make the larger diamond, I'm going to start in the top 2 squares. I'm going to start up at the very, very tip top, and go diagonal down. And if you notice, if I keep going from this corner to this corner, you can see how it just automatically starts to emerge from the top down, and then I'm going to make the bottom of the diamond. And again, I'm only dividing the squares in half diagonally, going from corner to corner. If I don't go corner to corner, then it doesn't match as well. Now, I have a decision to make. I can leave it just like this, or if I want to make it like the one on the handout, I'm going to need to make one more larger diamond. But this diamond, the points are going to hang off the edge. So I'm going to go, what I'm going to do is divide the four corners up diagonally. But you got to be careful. You could go the wrong direction, but that's fine. And then you just make up a new design. And it's very easy to do. And now I go in and I just color it in. And like I said, you get to pick and choose any colors that you want. Now I'm going to probably fast forward through the coloring portion of this, but I think it's neat to see what a finished piece would look like. Okay, now what I'd like to do now is going to show you how maybe do a huge one that's called Pinwheel. So again, if you're printing these out, you can print as many as you want. But if you're getting them from the flash file folder, you might come up. I'll try to have plenty of copies, so please take as what you want. Showing you how to draw the big, huge, ginormous pinwheel. So how do I make the largest triangles ever? So I'm going to start in the center, and I try to follow this triangle here. So it's actually really simple once you figure out the little tricks. So what I'm going to do is make a big, huge triangle here. So if I start in the center and work my way out, well, that's a little triangle. But if I add the little triangle, and if I keep going diagonally up, these two little triangles plus this triangle equals one really large triangle. So if you can't see that, let's say I'm just going to throw this blue. Okay. So you see how you make one larger triangle. So if I draw the other pinwheel, that line is already drawn for me. So all I got to do is draw the diagonal portion. Okay. So this one's going to be blue. So notice I basically made a large X, but it's how you color it in creates the other triangles. Now I think they also have smaller triangles. They have two smaller triangles that's going to be on the side. And all I have to draw is one diagonal to create that effect. Now, this part gets a little tricky. So this is going to be blue. This is a blue triangle. And this is going to be blue. And this is going to be a blue triangle. So then let's see if I go ahead and color these in. Let me see if I can show you how to draw the a lot of students like the Mayflower. It's really simple. The bottom strip is going to be the ocean, and then I go in the second to the bottom row. I'm going to go diagonal up, And then I'm going to make my sails or the flags diagonal up, diagonal up, diagonal up, diagonal up, and I'm done. And then I just color it in. And when you color it in, it will look like this. So again, you just have to figure out, find something you like, and then figure out how did they do it. And if you did several of these, I don't know if I could squeeze all of these on the table at once and get them all into in a camera shot. But and again, I would cut out the squares. I'd get rid of that white trim, and then that way you can piece them together a lot easier than I can. Nope, it does not like I can. There you go. Maybe you can see it that way. But you can have fun with this, and you can glue them on. Stick these up on the wall. And as if you come visit the art room, you can see that I have these stuck to the ceiling. We have quilted other ceiling tiles going to the library. We had quilted walls, and so these are just fun to draw. We've even quilted the fence. We may talk about that a little bit later on. If you have construction paper, you might cut out 2-inch squares and create the same project, but you have to cut your squares into triangles to see if you can make them out of construction paper. If your parents, mom or grandparents may have some old wallpaper scraps or scraps of material, I've seen this project done too, where we use wallpaper scraps or scraps of material, and we just glue it down to the paper. So this project can be done in many ways. You can use markers, you can use crayons, you can create your own pattern, or you can pick and choose some that are on the handout. And like I said, it's like a puzzle, and I really enjoy these. This is one of my favorite projects, and you don't have to send them to me. It'd be nice to see a photograph of what you make. I'd love to see how you're being creative at home and using the materials and things you have. But with this year being so close to Christmas, you don't have to turn these in. Like I said, you can send me a photo through our Google Classroom. Enjoy, have fun, and be creative, and hope to see you soon, everyone.